Hey guys, what's up? TheFish here, back once again with another new series. We're going to be playing Surviving Mars, a game developed by the guys who made Tropico and other such games, and published by the powerhouse that is Awesome Strategy Games, Paradox Interactive. Now, we're going to jump in very momentarily, but I would just like to mention a couple of little things that are related to this LP. First, I have played the game a little bit, not a whole lot. I've played enough to familiarize myself with how the game works, but I don't know any pro strats or anything like that. So, as always with these kinds of games, I'm going to be learning as I go, learning as I play along with you guys. So don't get mad when I do dumb things, which will happen. Next thing, these videos are going to be a little longer than I normally like. We're going to aim for somewhere around the 40 or 45 minute mark, because I feel like that'll be a nice pace as we go forward with the series. I don't know if we'll keep that up forever, but we'll keep it up for a little while here, at least while the game is fresh and new, and I'm very excited and very happy to be playing it. With all that said, let's hit new game. I really love these loading screens. The artwork is beautiful. Alright, so let's get ready to go to Mars. First thing we're going to do, we have to pick our mission sponsor. Now, in my little test game I played last night when the game came out, I played with the International Mars mission, which is the easiest of all of the mission sponsors. You get a crap ton of money, a bunch of research, and a lot of dudes, plus a couple of important things. If I can do the mouse thing here, I can't. Okay. Well, the colonists never get Earth sick, so they never want to return to Earth, so that really helps you maintain colonists when things are kind of shitty on your colony and people would normally want to leave. They have to stay. The game just won't let them leave. The food supply from passenger rockets increased times 10. That means for every dude, rather than I think 1 food you get per person, or 10 food you get per person. I think it's 10. Instead of 10 you get, no, it's 1. It's 1. 10 would be way too much. Instead of 1 food, you get 10 food per person. So a fully loaded transport ship with 12 people will come along with 120 food. That's a lot of food. And the rockets will refuel themselves. You don't have to do that yourself. I don't think I'm going to do this one, though. Let's try and keep it a little bit interesting. Let's see. The United States is a little bit more difficult. You get a lot less money and far fewer starting applicants and fewer rockets, but you can carry more stuff on a rocket, and you occasionally just get some random cash. The Blue Sun Corporation start with 2 rockets, actually a little bit more money than the last one, a little bit less research. Rare metals you get a little bit more money for, and you get about the same starting applicants, but you can spend cash to get more applicants. It's cheaper to get additional rockets. Probes can discover deep metal deposits, or rare metal deposits. That's important later. And you start with deep metal extraction, and that's a big deal. What little I've played, I've already established that being able to get to the deep metals is very, very good. China, additional colonists per ship, and they come in twice as fast. That makes a lot of sense for China. India, buildings are cheaper, and you start with medium domes. That's pretty nice. Although the rare metals are a little bit cheaper, or you get a little bit less cash for them compared to others. With Europe, we get some starting technologies, and we get funding every time a tech is research, and double if it's a breakthrough tech. That's pretty nice, because we're going to be consistently pumping out technology. The rare metals are again cheaper, though. That's not great, but we will be getting cash just from doing those researches, so it's not that big a deal. We'll be relying less on our exports and more on our technologies. Space Y, it's a nod to Elon Musk and SpaceX. Well, far less applicants, but we start off with more drones, and it's cheaper to buy stuff from Earth. So the advanced resources are things like machine parts and electronics and stuff like that that you normally have to fabricate, but that you cannot fabricate in the early game. That will make bringing that stuff up from Earth significantly cheaper. The Church of the New Ark, everybody is religious. They're making babies really, really fast. But hydroponic farms only output half as much. That's not great. That would be pretty tough. And Russia, we get fueled extractors. Fueled extractors for free. Fuel refinery prefabs are cheaper. But rockets take longer to get to Earth. Or Mars, rather. I don't think we want to be doing anything that's hard, so I think we'll not bother with Church of the New Ark or Russia right off the bat. Space Y might be fun. Europe, I kind of like. But you only start with 2 starting rockets. That could be a little problematic, especially since we'll have to be able to fabricate fuel to send them back. That might be a little rough. I think I like this Blue Sun Corporation. I like the deep metal extraction. Cheaper rockets. I don't know if that's going to be that big of an impact. Don't get a lot of research out of these guys, though. Our research game is going to be slowed down quite dramatically until we build up some research facilities on Mars itself. I know, I think it's going to be either between Blue Sun Corporation and Europe, but that 2 rockets is kind of bad. We do get significantly more research with Europe, though. We start with much less cash. I don't know. But I'm gonna have to make a decision here. I can't sit and procrastinate too much longer. We're already, what, 7 minutes into this video. I think we're maybe gonna do Blue Sun. On the other hand, Europe. God. I'm stuck in a loop, guys. You know what, let's just do it. Let's do Europe. Let's commit. Now for our commander profile, these give us some extra little starting stuff. They give us, I think all of them give us a bonus tech, which will change our early game quite substantially. So we can be an inventor, so our drones will periodically get faster and better until Sol 100. So they'll start out, you know, at the basic level, and eventually they'll be, theoretically, twice as fast, maybe. Autonomous hubs is nice, because you don't have to maintain drone hubs or power them. So you can drop them down places where you need to build stuff, and then you can just leave them to their own devices. So you can have little outposts with basically free drones to look after it. Oligarch, we get better fuel production, and we start with the residential spire building. Spire buildings we'll talk about when we get in the game, but they're things you build in the center of your domes and are quite powerful buildings, but you can only have 1 per dome. Hydro Engineer, we start with a water deposit. That's quite handy. We'll need less water in domes, and we get water reclamation, which is again another spire building. And I think that allows us to have like 70% less water usage, or 30% less water usage, or some number that I don't remember. Doctor, minimum birth rate required lowered by 15. So, your colonists can have babies, but they will only do it if their comfort need is met, and we'll talk about that when we get in the game. But this will make people far more likely to think Mars is a great place to raise children. And their lifespan will also be increased with STEM reconstruction. That's pretty nice. I like that. Psychologists, they get more sanity when resting in their homes, and we can have behavioral shaping, so we can treat colonists' flaws. We'll talk about the flaws a little bit later. Politician, all funding gains are increased by 20%. That might be nice, since we're getting money every time we research. That'll get us 20% more money every time we research. And Martian patents, repeatable tech that grants funding, so we'll be able to basically generate money from technology with that as well. But will that stack? Will that count as both researching the tech, giving us our Europe bonus, and also give us the extra money because that's what it gives? I don't know. Maybe we can find out. I kind of like that one. Futurist. Breakthrough techs are research 30% faster. Breakthroughs we'll talk about later. They're pretty much techs that are not visible in your research tree, and you acquire them through various things. They show up from doing scans and things like that. And autonomous sensors. Sensor towers no longer require power or maintenance, so we can just drop those down all over the planet to improve our scanning really fast. I think we'll still have to build them, but once they're built, they're pretty much going to live on their own without any requirement for us to babysit them. I like that one too. Ecologist. Comfort of decorations increased by 10, so that will help us raise the comfort of our colonists so they can have babies. And we get the hanging gardens. I don't know what that does. I assume it does something decorate-y in your domes. Astrologist. We get a rare metal deposit. We can extract the metals much faster, and we get deep scanning from the start. Now, deep scanning is what you need to reveal the deep deposits. You can't find them at the start. You have to go back and rescan the sectors once that technology becomes available. So that's pretty strong to start with. Or, in my mind, I have no idea. I've literally played the game for about an hour, so I don't know. I just think it sounds pretty strong. Or we can be a rocket scientist. We can start with an extra rocket. We get CO2 jet propulsion, which means we get a shuttle hub and long-range transportation right from the start. Now that's going to be good for moving resources around if we have kind of a base that's spread out into more little outposts rather than being central. But I think I like Futurist. I think it has to be Politician, because I kind of want to see what that tech, if that tech works how I think it should. Futurist, because autonomous sensors is cool. Or Rocket Scientist, because the jet propulsion stuff is cool. Or maybe Astrogeologist, too. God damn, it's so hard to pick. There is a random button, but I kind of want to, at least in these early days, be picking what I want to play with. I think we're going to go for the autonomous sensors. I like that. Get to pick our company logo. We have... Whoops. We have Fat Spaceship. We have Other Fat Spaceship. We have Fat Spaceship with a V behind it, or big wings, or something. We have Serenity, which I assume is a Serenity/Firefly reference. I don't know. I'm not particularly familiar with the show or the movie. I went to see the movie all those years ago and I fell asleep, so yeah. Mr. Handy, a little drone there. Curiosity, a little rover, as you might expect. One small step is a little spaceman helmet. Mars U is a little alien. Family Values is a bunch of little Mars guys. Brussels sprouts. Bio-robot is a little robot dude. And Don't Panic is simply an instruction, not panic. I like this one. We're going to do that one. And there are mysteries. These are sort of like little stories that happen throughout your colony. I don't know what any of them do. I haven't experienced any of them yet. And for that reason, I'm not mousing over any. I'm not going to select one particular. We're just going to leave it on random. We're going to see what happens. And hopefully that'll be kind of cool. Still not happy about that 2-rocket thing. It means we're going to have to make sure to take a fuel production facility as a prefab. Because you need tech to be able to make fuel, or make the building that makes fuel. But we can take prefabs up from Earth. So yeah, I think that's going to be everything, so we'll click Next. Now we get to pick our starting stuff. Similar to Dwarf Forgers when you prepare for your embark. In my experience, as limited as it may be, the default ones are pretty helpful. We have an RC Explorer. That's going to let us do anomalies and things like that. We have some drones. They're going to be operated by the shuttle. We don't have anything to use them on to start with. But we are going to get drone hub prefab as well, so we are going to be able to leave those drones behind. Moisture evaporator for water, a fuel refinery for fuel. That is pretty important, because we are going to want to send this rocket back as soon as possible so we can fill it up with more stuff. And we're also starting with some polymers, machine parts, electronics, and some auto probes to help us scout out the area. I think that's going to be fine. That is a big chunk of our money, though. But let's go to Mars. And we get to select our spot, and this is a really cool feature of the game. So it gives us these, you know, these relatively well balanced, at different difficulties, sort of sites that we can go to if we want to. Or you can just click anywhere you want. You can see the effects the different areas are going to have with resources and threats. So either we can go to one of these, or we can just be kind of random and go wherever we want. And I like being random, so we're going to hit random a bunch of times. There's not a lot here. It's pretty relaxed apart from cold waves, and that would really affect our water production and stuff. What we're going to try and get is something with 4 or 5 in all of these, and then as low as possible on the threats, because this is early days. I don't really know what I'm doing. We're going to have a fairly relaxed, not too difficult, hopefully, little playthrough here where we get to grips with the game, and then maybe we'll start another series where we'll crank up the difficulty. Dust storms and dust devils are a little bit high there. I mean, the 4 blocks probably means it's going to be almost continuous, like at least every other day we would have to deal with that sort of threat. That's a little better. Dust storms and dust devils. The dust storms aren't terrible. They will prevent us from making oxygen, but if we have plenty stored, that's not going to be that big a deal. The dust devils, I think, probably do damage. Oh, it's still just dust. Okay, so it's not like a tornado. They basically are the same thing, but dust devils, it happens more quickly and over a much more concentrated area. Meteors and cold waves don't happen basically at all, so that's nice. And we have 4 on all of the resources that we're going to need. I'm pretty okay with that. We're going to be up here, next to this big, massive crater. It's going to be relatively flat, so we're not going to have to deal with a lot of changes in terrain. And it's not going to be too cold. I mean, it's pretty freezing, but it could be colder. Up here we can see our difficulty bonus at 180%, so it's not going to be the easiest of games, but it's not going to be the hardest either. Let's get ourselves to Mars. At which point I will probably have to check what in-game radio station I have the game set to, because I don't know...
Welcome to Mars.
Hey. Because I don't know the copyright situation with a lot of these songs. And in fact, that sounds like it's probably copyright right now. So I'm going to read this out really quickly. Everyone in Mission Control is impatient to see the rocket touching down and unloading its precious cargo, our remotely controlled eyes and hands on the Red Planet, the drones and rovers. Our goal is to secure a foothold for humanity by building the first Martian dome. This daunting endeavor will allow the brave pioneers, the founders, to settle on Mars and prove that the colony is sustainable. But until then, we have to make sure the colony has enough construction resources, water, oxygen, and power. And my blinds just made a really loud noise and scared the shit out of me. Anyway, yeah, let's put it on Surviving Mars, and we'll turn the volume down a little bit. We'll have a little bit of background music, but hopefully I won't get any content IDs. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to use our orbital probe to sort of scout out the area around near where we're starting. This area is the one that it's given us, so hopefully we get some good stuff nearby. We have 3, so I think we'll go for the ones with the most biddable area. Like that. One more. This isn't great. I was really hoping for some water. 35, 57. Does it say any of these are likely to have water? No.
Milestone achieved.
Oh, there's a stroke of luck. We do have a little bit of water there. Right next to some metals too, so that's probably going to be the site, or an early site for our dome. Yeah, it has the most metal over there as well. I think that'll be good. So let's zoom in. We're going to set down somewhere over here. We're going to actually start near the concrete first, because we need concrete to build basically everything. There's not a lot of concrete, but it's going to have to do to get us started. But we want to make sure we put our rocket down somewhere where the range of the drones is going to cover all this shit. And that is the big hexagonal outline you're seeing on the very edges of the screen. So I think right here is going to be just fine. While the ship is coming down, we want to get some research started. See what we have available. Life from Mars will give us more applicants. That's not particularly important right now. Scientists and botanists will be better. It's also not particularly important. Low-G turbines, kind of nice, but we're not going to really have the polymers to commit to those sorts of upgrades for a little while. Probes are cheaper and can deep scan. That might be nice. Transport optimizations. We don't actually have any RC transports, so that's not useful right now. Drones move faster. That's pretty nice. Polymer factory and fuel refinery. That would allow us to build our own fuel refineries instead of having to use prefabs. That might be fun. Moxie upgrade. Low-G fungi. Low-G high-rise. I think we're probably gonna... I want that, but not immediately. Because we do have our prefab. So I think maybe we'll just get the better drones. We'll queue up some other stuff. Because as we go around scanning anomalies and stuff, we'll sometimes get a whole bunch of research dumped into our system, which can complete a research, and I think it might be wasted if you don't have something else queued up. So you lose some of the bonus, which is no fun at all. Let's get the high rises, and then we'll get the low-G stuff. And I guess we'll get the low-G fungi as well. There's some bonus food that we can grow outside of our domes. Here comes our beautiful, beautiful ship. The colonization efforts of Mars have officially begun. That reminds me. Gotta queue up some of these to scan. These will happen very slowly at the moment, but we'll build a tower real soon to speed up that process. Now, I'm gonna pause it while we talk about some stuff. I also gotta turn that music down just a little bit more. It's a little loud in my ears. So we can right-click. This will show us everything we have in our base. We have some polymers, some electronics, some machine parts. We don't have any metals or concrete, but there are surface metals laying around which we will use to build a concrete extractor on the concrete here. Start getting concrete, and then we can properly start building up our new colony. Down here we have the time and the day. Now, something weird I've noticed. The game goes by in days. So we will go, you know, from nighttime, daytime, back to nighttime. On and on, passing days as we go. But for every day that passes, it feels like at least a year, maybe more, passes in-game. Because the births and the deaths happen relatively quickly. So we can probably consider this to be years. But that's okay, that sort of keeps things moving along at a fairly reasonable pace. Is there anything else we want to do right now? We don't want to send any more rockets just yet, so I guess we'll begin setting up our constructions. We're going to start by throwing down our drone hub prefab. We want to make sure it covers a relatively good area. In fact, we're not going to do that yet, because we do have this running our drones, so it's not vital. What other prefabs do we have? Fuel refinery prefab, that's very important. We'll need 5 power and 1 water to convert to fuel. And the Moxie will give us 1 water. So we won't be stockpiling it with this, but this will have basically just to run our rocket refueling. And I think that's going to be fine. So let's start... Actually, maybe we should actually start with the most important thing first, the metal extractor. The concrete extractor, rather. It's pretty important. I'm going to just move it around a little bit. Looks like... Oh, 561, 562, 591.6. That looks like it's going to be our best yield. Let's throw that in. I will of course need some power. Let's build some of these large solar panels. Let's build... Don't want to build it too close to this because it will kick up dust. And dust will be bad for our solar panels. I think it's bad for pretty much everything. I'm going to run a power cable out here so we can sort of get an idea. It's a little weird because everything happens kind of diagonally. There's no straight up. So I like to just drop down a power cable so I can see what really counts as vertical. To try and keep things a little bit neat. I think... Whoops. Why did Steam Overlay show up? I did not remotely press the button for Steam Overlay. Huh. That was weird. But we'll build, I guess, 5 little solar panels to start. Actually, they're 4 metal each. I hope we have enough metal. We do have this big pile of metal there. I think we'll be fine. Let's not worry about it too much. I have to make sure we have cables on the other side. They'll have to be touching. It's a kind of cute little cable area. We also want a battery. Whoops, that's not how you rotate stuff. Put a cute little battery right in there. And we might also want a couple of wind turbines just so we're also generating at night. That seems pretty smart. So let's put one there. Whoops. Gotta hold down shift to allow you to place multiple. Like that. And I guess one more? Not actually gonna quite line up, is it? That upsets me. Let's move the battery. Maybe that'll fit in there. Yeah, perfect. That works for me. Alright. Next thing, let's get our RC Explorer to go research that. And we'll let our drones start to get things set up here. Our cute little drones. They're gonna start gathering this metal for these constructions, and in the meantime we'll put down some depots. We'll start with a universal depot right there that they can unload the shuttle into, and we'll also want a concrete depot somewhere vaguely near our extractor, as well as some of these dumping sites. Most of the digging machines do produce a lot of waste rock, but there is some tech later on that will allow us to do cool things with those. Probably gonna need more than just the one. That'll have to do for a little while. Everything's within our zone, so that is fine. Alright. Speed things up a little. In fact, let's, because our scanning towers are free, basically. It's one metal, one electronic. We can put that down. I guess we'll just put it right in here. And that will increase the speed in which we scan these things, because we'll get a bonus from the tower. And it will also give us some early warning. What is
Anomaly
this?
analyzed. Milestone achieved.
What is this? This looks like a big old pile of metal. I want to dig that out. It's really pretty obvious over there. I want to go poke it. We got some new text from our
environs of the red planet than meets the eye. A veritable treasure trove of undiscovered knowledge and wonder. So long as you know where to look.
Thanks, cool voice guy. So yeah, we got some bonus text from scanning that anomaly. We are going to get drone swarm and surface heating. What are those? Drone swarm will give us 2 additional drones with each drone hub, which I do actually really want before we build our drone hub. So I think we're gonna throw that into the middle. I think we can do that without losing our progress on this, but I'm not sure. So let's actually clear out all of these. We'll put that one in, and then we'll replace these. Oh wait, there was another one as well. Yeah, subsurface heating. Increases the local temperature in cold areas and protects nearby buildings from cold waves. Consumes water. Okay. So we can use that to protect our oxygen systems and our water systems from freezing in the colder weather. We have nothing more for our little scanning drone to scan. We'll send him back. Sit on one of these cables, so once we get the power up, he will recharge. And he'll be ready to go as soon as we find him something else to go and scan. Now we may want to order a new ship straight away, but I don't think we do. Unless we run out of stuff. Alright, our little dude here is up, but we need to wait for power. It shouldn't take too long. We're going to eat up a lot of machine parts on these windmills, but we did bring a handful. Should have enough for the short term at least. Okay, solar panel up. Drone is recharging. Do you have enough power? You do. Alright, we're now making concrete. Perfect. He's gonna reach out and grab the concrete up with his little, I guess, drill, but not really. I don't know what you call that. His spinny thing. So we're now producing concrete, which we are spending to construct stuff. I think we're only going to be using it on the wind turbines and the battery. That's okay. We can start to put down some of our other stuff, though. We're going to want a water extractor over here. In fact, let's build the Moxie first, because it's free. So we have the prefab. I guess we'll put it basically here. And we'll throw down our fuel refinery as well. Like that. These guys need pipes. We'll connect them together like so, and this will produce water. This will convert said water into fuel. And that will refuel our rocket, and we can send it back to Earth. And fill it up with more stuff that we need. I would like to get the underground metals, but we're gonna need people for that. One way over there as well, so we're gonna have a couple of domes pretty far spread out. But I think that's gonna be fine. My real concern is kind of concrete. That one's not really worth our time. But also metals, just surface metals. We're gonna get through these pretty fast. Hopefully it'll be okay. Our windmills are kicking in. We do have some power at night. How are we looking for power? Still running a deficit at night, but we're running a massive... what's the opposite of a deficit again? Surplus. God. My brain. We're running a massive surplus during the day, and that's only going to get more as more of these windmills kick in. So we should be able to charge that battery once it is built and ready to go. As you can see, we're starting to make some ugly-ass rocks, but we will be able to clean these up later on if we get a tech. I should mention, these technology trees are a little bit randomized. Some things show up in different spots, I believe. Split across these trees. I don't think they're always in the same place. They might be. I don't think they are, though. I know, maybe they are. I haven't played the game enough to be able to tell. And I've been trying to avoid too much information, because I want to experience the game organically.
Sector scanned.
Hey, we scanned a place, and it was empty. Fun. Oh, there's a dust devil over there. Not mess with him. We'll just keep time passing relatively fast for a bit. These early days are gonna kinda chug along. Nothing's gonna happen fast. But now we have that tower up, these scans are gonna happen much, much faster. And that is very, very good. And because those things are free, once we get our little mobile drone rover thingy, we can just send him out in the middle of nowhere, drop down a tower, and everything will be good.
Research complete.
We have low G drive, so our drone's going to move faster. They're slowly refueling the rocket. We're up to 7 out of 60. We're not making any rare metals to send back to Earth right now, so we'll be sending an empty rocket back. But I think that'll be okay. I've kind of forgotten already what our bonuses are. Is there anywhere we can see that? Not really. Were we getting cash
Sector scanned.
for research? I think we were, right? I think so. Found a little bit of metal down here. It's just surface metal. No more mines. But that's okay. I think we're going to want to head over into this corner first for our scans. Just get that cleared out. I don't expect there to be too much there. It would be nice to have. Those guys are filling up our universal stockpile with that metal. And that will basically be all the metal we can grab within range of our drone here. Or our drone commander inside of the ship. So I think our next rocket will probably drop over here. Just to grab these few metals as well. Let's start thinking about what we need in order to proceed. We are going to want to get a dome set up. But for a dome, we're going to need an actual water extractor, a moxie, an oxygen tank, and a water tower. Those are the must-haves. We have to start producing oxygen and water before we can even think about setting up our dome.
Sector scanned.
These things we're going to have to bring from prefabs for right now. But we will want to get those set up as well, so we don't have to send off for our advanced components like machine parts and electronics, which we are going to want some more of soon. They're starting to get a little bit low. So I think what we're going to do... Uh-oh. Go away, Mr. Dust Devil. We don't want to play. I think what we're going to want to do is to think about what we're going to do with this water. We're not necessarily going to build it yet, but I'm going to put it down and then pause production. Run a power cable. Ah, the ship is in the way. That makes me really sad. I haven't positioned things suitably. I just want to go right through there. Please let me. Oh, we'll worry about that a little bit later. Our dome, I think we'll put on this side. Just on the off chance there's some more stuff over here, because we're waiting. I guess it's unlikely there'll be some right on the edge there. So that's okay. We'll just put it wherever is convenient. Should be something like this. We do have some other skins for this.
Sector scanned.
Okay, still no resources. We have this one, which is more how I would expect a Martian dome to look like. This is the default one, which is just a little bit bubbly for me. There's not really any structure there, and I like the idea of a real big, strong structure. Even if it is glass, you know, there would be metal work there. This is the Stellaris one, because I own Stellaris, which is really, really nice as well. It's got a sort of sci-fi look. It's not quite that. It's sort of a little bit sci-fi, but it's still got some structure. So I think we're going to use the Stellaris ones for our domes. Plus the blue is kind of nice. Makes us think of home. We'll just throw that down there and we'll pause it so we don't commit any resources to it, because that's going to be a big build. Now when we get some dudes, they're going to want to extract metals. We'll have to get that guy set up. I guess we can throw down some pipes, but not really, because I don't want to have to deal with pausing them all. So we'll just lay down the other stuff, and then we'll do the pipes after. So we will have the water extractor. We'll want a water tower.
Sector scanned.
I guess we'll put near the dome. And I think we'll have that sort of moving forward. Slow the game down while we do this. I think moving forward, we'll make sure every dome has its own water tower, its own evaporator. Not evaporator. Its own moxie and its own oxygen tank. I think that'll be just perfect for us. So we'll throw that in there. Get an oxygen tank right next door. And a moxie to convert that water into oxygen next to that. A little bit like that. I think that'll allow us to run the cabling and the oxygen pipe straight through. But we don't want you to make these. Stop. Stop. Go do something else with that. We'll fill that in later when we have some more resources. In the meantime, we're just waiting for that rocket to refuel. I think we probably do want to bring in another one. It's early days, but since we're producing fuel, it won't be the end of the world. Now, what are we going to want to bring? It's maybe a little early to be thinking about producing our own machine parts and electronics and stuff, even with the prefabs. So we're not going to do that yet. We are going to want an RC rover, so that we can send drones off to faraway places. We already have an explorer. The transport's going to be nice to help us gather up some resources. I'm also going to bring some more drones. Bring 10 more drones. And other than that, I think we're just going to fill up on polymers, machine parts, and electronics. Let's bring mostly machine parts. I think that's going to be okay. Again, we probably want some prefab buildings, but they're really expensive and really heavy. And we're not in a position to start making stuff yet, so it's not really worth it. But let's bring the Vega rocket to join us here on Mars with some more stuff. That will be lovely. We mostly need polymers for the dome, because it is pretty much made of glass. And machine parts. I think we're going to be good. Once this rocket moves out of the way, we'll see about putting all of our pipes in. But for right now, we're just going to accelerate the time. Wait for this rocket to fill up. While keeping up with our scans. Uh-oh. Dust Devil. Get away. Jerk. At least it doesn't do damage.
Cable fault reported.
Okay, it does. A little bit of damage to cables. Yeah. Alright, so it makes things require maintenance. It doesn't destroy them, but it wears them out, basically. That's just going to cost us some machine parts and some metals and stuff. I'd really like it if he'd just fuck off right now. Making my life much more difficult than it really needs to be. I think we're actually going to drop down our other rocket on this side, rather than down here. I mean, I don't think this one has particularly more metals than the other. I think this one technically might have a few more, but this one's gonna allow those drones to get to work straight away when we unpause these things. We want to get our drone hub down before we send this guy back as well, so maybe we should consider doing that. Let's actually pretend to run a little pipe. It's a little one. Because I kind of want our drone hub to be along there. It's kind of central. Like right here. Covers everything. I think that is where it wants to be to allow the cable to run. So we'll put that right there. It's going to be turned off right now until we run the cable, obviously. But that's going to be fine.
Sector scanned. Anomaly found.
Ooh.
Resources are low.
Let's slow it down. We're out of machine parts and stuff.
Electrostatic dust storm approaching.
And we have an electrostatic dust storm. So, that's bad. We're going to want to close up all our solar panels and that during that. We're out of machine parts. Oh. We have some stuff and a new anomaly. So let's get this guy. Send him off to investigate that anomaly. Good luck, friend. And you're blinking. Oh no, it's our new ship is blinking. Let's land him over here. Like that. A little close to this extractor, but I think it's going to be okay. He'll be ready to take off soon, and we can plug everything else in. Just in time with those extra machine parts and stuff. I swear we brought more than that. I don't know. I guess we'll see.